everybody, thanks for coming back to my channel. So for today's video, I am going to do a review on the Natasha Denona Bronze palette. Here's what it looks like on the outside. And this palette is by no means a new palette, but it is new to me, and I wanted to give you guys my thoughts and feelings on it. And this is what the inside looks like. So this palette retails for $65, but before I go any further, if you want to hear my thoughts and opinions, then just keep watching. I want to kind of rate like each category that I look at like in a palette. Like when I buy a palette, these are the categories that I look at and I rate them. Well, this is my new thing that I'm doing at least. I look at the formula, I look at the color story, and I look at the packaging. Those three categories really like tell me a lot about a palette for me and what I like to purchase in a palette. And just a little bit of backstory, like the Sephora VIP sale was just in the beginning of November, and I had this baby on my list. I went into store like a month prior and I saw this in person and I was like, holy moly, this is so beautiful. Just looking at this palette like in person was just absolutely stunning. Like I said, this palette retails for $65, which is on the pricier side. However, I definitely wanted to get it on sale. I was not about to justify myself purchasing a $65 palette. I usually go like $50. That's like my limit. So this was perfect timing to get this palette on sale. And it was between this one or the Love palette, I think it's called, the purpley one. And you might be surprised that I didn't pick that up, and I may still do so, but I definitely wanted something like neutral. I need to fill my makeup collection with products that like add to it, not like repeat to it. So you might be thinking, Lisa, come on, like you have neutral palettes. Guys, like I really don't. Like, you know, I'm more of a colorful kind of person. Yeah, I have neutrals in here and there palettes, but I don't have a whole bunch of neutrals in one palette. So that was my reasoning behind getting this palette. And I have to say, right off the bat, I have not put it down since I got it. I have put it down to do my eye makeup today. This is the Tati palette. I know, random. But I will insert pictures of my makeup looks that I've done with this so that you can see different looks, and definitely make sure to follow me on Instagram so you can stay up to date with what I'm doing if you care. But yeah, I'm just like over the moon, in love with this palette, and I want to go into the details about it. And let's see, there are 15 shadows in this palette, so it does come with a mirror. This would be so ideal for travel, and just I've been using it every day for work. Like I just love it so much. Mine is like really beat up because I've been using it so much. Like I feel like I really have been using it every day. Sorry, I'm just like cleaning up. But let's go through each of the categories, and then I will show you swatches at the end, I think. So the formula of this is 10 out of 10. It is completely Natasha Denona standard, like her regular formula. It is just out of this world, amazing, 10 out of 10. Her color story, for this particular palette, I would give an 8 out of 10, and I will get into that. But her packaging is 10 out of 10. Like, this is gorgeous. And let's get into each of the things. So her formula is stunning. Like, she has super vibrant metallics, which hopefully you will see in the swatches. Super vibrant metallics. Some even actually have a squishy vibe to them, which remind me of the ColourPop Super Shock shadows. And you can kind of see in the pan how it's like rippled almost. So that one has that vibe. This one has that vibe. And I think this one does too. There is sort of like a squishy texture to them, which I feel it definitely helps with the payoff and the fact that you don't have to layer and layer and layer. So that sort of thing I definitely wanted to mention. And the mattes, I feel like if you know Natasha Denona on any sort of level from whatever people have been saying, the mattes just blend so easily and so effortlessly, and it really like makes your makeup application look so flawless, and I really appreciate that in a matte formula. So the color story, the reason why I gave it a 8 out of 10 is because it didn't have like a cream shadow for my brow bone. And if this were really like a complete palette, I would like a cream shadow for my brow bone, just so I don't have to like reach into another palette, or so I don't have to like bring another palette. Like, the whole point of buying this was so that it would be all inclusive. And the other thing is that it doesn't necessarily have a dark matte brown. This is a dark satin brown. It is gorgeous and I love it, but I would have preferred it to be just matte, not satin. So those are my only two gripes. And the other thing about the color story is that, yes, this is a completely neutral palette. There is some repetition in this palette, but there are some surprises, and I want to talk about those really quickly. This Bliss shade is the one that I'm wearing in my first look that I'm going to show you, and the first look that I ever did. And it comes across as, I'm just going to kind of like dip my finger in there so I can show you if you can possibly even see it. It has like green and gold specks in it for sparkle, and it is just stunning. Next to a brown shade, it comes across as green. It is the most interesting thing. And then this shade right here at the top there is this palette's so awkward to hold, but it's such an interesting color, and I have to have a palette full of neutrals that has some sort of element of surprise to it to keep me wanting more and to keep me wanting to use this palette. So those are the things that I had to say about the color story. And to be honest, like, this palette I was concerned with if I would actually like the palette because it is such a neutral palette, and you guys know that I'm not a neutral lover for the most part. I do like it during the work week. It's hard for me to love a neutral palette, but if the formula is 10 out of 10 and there's something special to it, it is a necessary kind of palette to have in my collection because, like I said, my neutrals are all in different palettes and I have a lot of color, so I really needed something like this to fill that void. So like I said, it does have 15 shades, $65 price point, and I would definitely recommend getting this on sale. Like I said, I would not justify this palette at all for the full $65. Well, this particular one, the Natasha Denona formula in general, yes, I would justify, but this particular palette, because it's not an all-inclusive and because it's not a neutral palette, I don't feel this is $65. Maybe like $50. But then that seems kind of low, so maybe it is. I'm not really sure, but I'm glad I got it on sale. Let's just put it that way. For packaging, I just wanted to talk briefly about this packaging. It definitely is simple, but it represents what's inside. So this is called a bronze palette, and it literally is a bronze packaging, and it's got bronze on the inside. So I love that she just kept it like themed like that. She didn't go out of the park. She didn't try something new. She just stuck with what I feel like people wanted. So I'm going to share some swatches and some makeup looks right now, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. Did you guys pick this up? Let me know. I did see it in somebody else's physical basket when I was shopping. They were right behind me and they had it in their basket, and I was like, all right, I know that this palette is going to be good. And even the Sephora cashier was like, oh my god, you're going to absolutely love this palette. So I'm really happy with this purchase, and that is going to be it for me. I hope you guys like this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe on your way out, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye everyone!